The Golden Age of Piracy, a time when ruthless pirates ruled the high seas, striking fear into the hearts of kings and sailors alike. But beyond the tales of treasure chests and Blackbeard's fearsome beard lies a much darker and more complex story. This is the untold truth of how piracy exploded during the 17th and 18th centuries, fueled by the ambitions of empires, the greed of men, and the shocking rise of women on pirate ships. Join us as we uncover the shocking secrets of the most notorious pirates in history, from the ruthless Blackbeard, whose fiery end was as dramatic as his life, to the infamous Anne Bonny, whose true identity was shrouded in mystery. What if we told you that some pirates weren't just outlaws, but heroes fighting for freedom against corrupt empires? Or that the pirate code was more than a set of rules, it was a revolutionary battle cry for equality? But the plot thickens. This was no simple battle between pirates and empires. The pirates themselves were divided, their motivations often far more complicated than mere greed. Did you know that some pirates were secretly playing both sides of the war, working for governments while maintaining their pirate fleets? How did the empire's desperate pursuit of riches and global dominance lead to the rise of piracy in the first place? As we sail through this treacherous world, you'll discover how piracy was far more than just treasure hunts. It was a brutal game of survival, strategy, and betrayal. The Golden Age didn't end because pirates were defeated, but because they became a threat too powerful to ignore. And as the British Navy grew stronger, the pirate legacy was sealed, not just by execution and bounty, but by the lasting influence they had on global trade, culture, and even modern-day crime. But the twist? The Pirate King's legacy wasn't just about gold, it was about the bloodline of revolutionaries and kings lost in the depths of history. Did you know that some of today's biggest legends of the sea might trace their lineage to the pirates of the Golden Age? Brace yourself for an eye-opening look at how piracy shaped the world we know today, and uncover the untold stories of treasure, betrayal, and the true pirates who changed the course of history. 1. The rise of the Pirate Kingdom. In the shadow of the great empires, as the British and Spanish empires clash violently over the world's lucrative trade routes, a group of outcasts begins to form an alliance that will shake the foundations of power itself. These men and women, once ordinary sailors, traders, and soldiers, have found themselves cast aside by their respective nations, their lives shaped by the tyranny of monarchs and imperial greed. But within them burns a fierce desire for something more, freedom. It begins with a chance encounter, a shared hunger for rebellion against the oppressive system that has dictated their lives. It is in a tavern, hidden on the edge of the Caribbean, that the first whispers of a new order begin. Over time, these whispers grow into a roaring storm, and one by one, the disillusioned and daring join the cause. There are no lofty titles among them, no kings, no lords, only pirates. They come from all corners of the earth, a former British naval officer turned outlaw, a Spanish conquistador's widow seeking revenge, a fleet of African sailors who have escaped the chains of slavery, and an enigmatic woman, Anne Bonny, whose past is as mysterious as her ambition. These pirates do not see themselves as mere criminals, they are revolutionaries, united by a singular purpose. To create a world in which the seas belong to no nation, where wealth and power are not determined by kings and courts but by the strength of the crew and the courage of the individual. They forge an unspoken, yet binding promise, an oath to one another that no crown will rule them, no laws will bind them. The pirate code, which begins as a mere suggestion, soon becomes the heart of their rebellion. Shared riches, shared responsibility, and the belief that all men and women, regardless of their birth or status, deserve the same chance at fortune. The idea of the Pirate Kingdom is born out of necessity, but it is fueled by the passion for autonomy and the raw desire for something greater than servitude to empire. Their banner becomes one of defiance, not just against the British or Spanish, but against the very idea of empire itself. As the pirate ships begin to sail in unison, they forge a new way of life, on their own terms, driven by a fierce and unyielding sense of freedom. For them, the seas are not a place of lawlessness, but a realm of opportunity, where the only rules are those they create. They are no longer bound by the whims of monarchs or the confines of traditional society. Instead, they carve out a kingdom of their own, wild, dangerous, and free. The rise of the Pirate Kingdom marks the birth of a new world order, where the only loyalty is to the crew, and the only law is the unbreakable code of piracy. 2. The mysterious Pirate Queen. Among the raucous and bloodthirsty crew of pirates that sail the high seas, one figure stands out, a woman whose fierce spirit and cunning intellect quickly elevate her above her male counterparts. Her name is Anne Bonny, and from the moment she steps aboard the pirate ship, there is an air of mystery that clings to her like the salt of the ocean breeze. But it is not just her remarkable skills in battle or her keen sense of strategy that draws attention. It is the unsettling aura surrounding her. No one knows where she came from, and her past is a tangle of half-truths and whispered rumors. Some say she was born into a noble family, hidden away in the lush estates of Ireland, only to be cast aside when her family's wealth crumbled. Others whisper that she was once part of an influential court, a lady-in-waiting whose beauty captivated even the most powerful men. But there is one rumor that terrifies even the most hardened pirate. The belief that Anne Bonny is the last living heir to an ancient royal bloodline, one that traces its roots back to a pirate king of legendary renown, a man who ruled the seas before the empires even thought to claim them. As Anne's reputation grows, so does the intrigue surrounding her. On the surface, she seems to be nothing more than another pirate seeking fortune and glory, a fierce and resourceful woman who takes her place among the men, not as a subordinate but as an equal. She commands respect with a mixture of sharp wit, unyielding determination, and unparalleled combat skills. Yet, underneath the bravado, there is an unmistakable tension in her movements, a constant war between her allegiances. She does not remain loyal to the pirates as a whole, nor does she fully embrace the empire she once escaped from. Instead, Anne plays a dangerous game of duality, manipulating both sides to serve her own mysterious purpose. The empire sees her as a valuable asset, a tool to be used to infiltrate the pirate fleets and bring them to heel. The pirates, meanwhile, are enthralled by her strength and tenacity, though they remain wary, knowing she may hold secrets that could spell their doom. Anne's true allegiance, however, lies in the deepest recesses of her soul, a secret she cannot even fully grasp herself. It is a secret entwined with her bloodline. An ancient legacy that could grant her not just power, but dominion over the very forces that shape the seas. Yet, there is a deadly cost to this legacy, one that could alter the balance of the pirate kingdom forever. Anne's every decision is shaped by a subtle, unseen hand, her own unresolved past pulling at her heart, guiding her actions toward a destiny she cannot escape. But as the tides of war rise and alliances shatter, Anne will come face to face with a truth that no pirate, no empire, could have foreseen. She is not just a pirate, she is the key to the future of piracy itself, a queen in a kingdom of shadows, her destiny sealed by the blood of those who once ruled the seas. And as the empire closes in on her, and the pirates begin to turn against each other, Anne must decide whether to embrace the power that flows through her veins, or destroy it, before it consumes them all. 3. The betrayal of Blackbeard. Blackbeard, his name strikes fear into the hearts of sailors and empires alike, a pirate so notorious that his mere presence on the seas is enough to send entire fleets into retreat. With his blackened beard and terrifying demeanor, he commands not just respect, but absolute terror. To the world, Blackbeard is the epitome of the pirate king, bold, invincible, and untouchable. But beneath the fearsome exterior, a darker truth is simmering. One that threatens to unravel everything Blackbeard has built. At first, Blackbeard's ambitions seem simple: treasure, glory, and the ultimate dominion over the seas. His ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, becomes a symbol of his fearsome reputation, striking terror into merchant vessels and naval fleets alike. His crew follows him with blind loyalty, believing in the pirate code and the promise of unimaginable wealth that Blackbeard offers. But as the spoils of piracy flow in, so too does an insatiable hunger for more, a hunger that goes beyond gold and treasure. Blackbeard's lust for power begins to overshadow his love for treasure. His once allied pirate captains are sidelined, and his crew is increasingly driven by fear rather than loyalty. His temper, once controlled by the thrill of battle, grows erratic. Whispers begin to circulate among the crew. Rumors that Blackbeard has become obsessed with something far greater than fortune. Power, influence, and a desire to crush any force that might stand in his way consume him. His paranoia deepens, and he begins to suspect that even his most trusted crew members are plotting against him. But the true betrayal lies buried in his past, far darker than anyone could have imagined. In a shocking revelation, it comes to light that Blackbeard, the pirate king, had once struck a secret pact with the British Navy. It was a deal forged in desperation during a time when the Empire's power seemed unbeatable, an agreement to feed intelligence to the British in exchange for personal protection and a guarantee of wealth beyond his wildest dreams. His role was to act as a spy among the pirates, feeding information to the British Navy about rival pirate crews and their movements. For years, Blackbeard had been playing a dangerous game, pretending to lead a rebellion against the Empire while secretly aiding its forces. He had betrayed his fellow pirates, knowingly sending them into traps, sabotaging their attempts to raid valuable ships, and steering them into the path of British warships. His infamous piracy was, in fact, the Empire's most cunning weapon, a double-edged sword that only he knew how to wield. However, this treachery does not go unnoticed. As the pirate kingdom grows and the bonds among the crews tighten, suspicions arise. Some of Blackbeard's most loyal followers begin to piece together the truth. The subtle signs of his growing obsession and erratic behavior make them question his true intentions. Whispers spread like wildfire, and soon, the once unbreakable bond between Blackbeard and his crew begins to crumble. Cornered by the very men who once followed him without question, Blackbeard finds himself facing the ultimate reckoning. The Pirate King is no longer the fearless leader he once appeared to be. He is a man betrayed by his own ambitions, trapped in a web of lies and deceit. As his crew turns against him, Blackbeard's world unravels. His final act will be one of survival. A desperate, bloody attempt to escape the consequences of his treachery and secure his place in history, even if it means sinking his own ship. The pirates who once called him their leader now see him as nothing more than a traitor. The world watches as Blackbeard's reign begins to collapse, a man consumed by power and paranoia, undone by the very forces he sought to control. His betrayal will go down in pirate lore. Not as the tale of a fearless king of the seas, but as the tragic fall of a man who sold his soul for a crown of lies. 4. Pirate Code or Empire's Pawn. The Pirate Code, a simple set of rules that promised equality, freedom, and unity among the crews. It was meant to be the foundation of the pirate kingdom, an unbreakable bond that united these rebellious souls against the empires that had once oppressed them. The code ensured that all pirates shared in the bounty, that no one man or woman could claim more than the rest, and that loyalty to the crew outweighed loyalty to any crown or empire. It was the promise of a new world, one built on mutual respect and rebellion. But, as with all dreams, cracks began to appear. As the pirate kingdom grew, so did its ambitions, and with that ambition came the seeds of division. Some pirates, once hardened outlaws and proud rebels, began to question the very code they had sworn by. The allure of empire wealth, promises of amnesty, and the seduction of power whispered in the shadows. Slowly, a few began to break away, slipping from the tight grip of the pirate code. These pirates, once heroes of the open seas, secretly found themselves striking deals with the very empires they had fought against. They began to offer intelligence, strategies, and even the locations of pirate havens, all in exchange for a price. One such pirate is Captain Elias Silverhand Murphy, a former leader of one of the most feared pirate crews on the seas. Murphy had once been a hero of the pirate kingdom, his ship feared across the Caribbean. But now, his heart and mind have been torn in two. Sworn to the code, he had led his crew through countless raids, believing that they were building something bigger than themselves, something that could change the world. But now, Elias finds himself working as a spy for the British Empire, sent to infiltrate his former crew and bring them down. Elias' task is clear. Hunt down his old crew and betray them to the British Navy. In exchange, he is promised riches beyond his wildest dreams, the chance to reclaim a position of power, and the protection of the empire. But as he sails toward the very crew he once led, the weight of his decisions presses heavily on his heart. He questions everything he once believed. Was this betrayal truly the path to power, or has he simply become another pawn in the empire's game? Every encounter with his old crew, every whisper of the pirate code, causes Elias to falter. He begins to see familiar faces in the crew that once trusted him, the same faces that fought beside him in bloody battles. Their eyes no longer burn with rebellion, but with distrust, suspicion, and the haunting truth that something has changed within him. How could they not? The man who once rallied them with promises of freedom and treasure is now a shadow of that pirate king. His loyalty twisted, his honor sold. But the deeper Elias digs into his own heart, the more questions arise. Was he truly the one who betrayed his crew, or had they already betrayed him long before? Had the pirates manipulated him, used him to further their own agendas, while never intending to share in the spoils of their revolution? The more Elias uncovers, the more the lines blur between loyalty and manipulation, between honor and treachery. As the final confrontation looms, Elias faces the ultimate test. Will he turn on his crew to secure his place in the empire, or will he reclaim the pirate code and burn the empire's promises to the ground? The weight of his past decisions crashes upon him. He has become the very thing he once despised, yet he cannot escape the gnawing question, in this world of pirates and empires, who is truly the puppet and who is the master? 5. The Pirate King's Heir. For years, the pirates of the high seas have lived under the shadow of the legendary Pirate King, a figure whose name is spoken in reverence and fear. His reign was marked by untold riches, endless battles, and a kingdom that stretched across the oceans. But as time wore on, the Pirate King disappeared into legend, his legacy fading into the abyss of history. Without a true leader to guide them, the pirates became fractured, drifting from one shipwreck to the next, each crew leader claiming dominion over their own slice of the seas. Yet, in the farthest reaches of the Caribbean, something ancient and dangerous stirs beneath the waves. From the depths of obscurity emerges a figure, a young heir whose very existence has been kept a closely guarded secret. This heir, known to only a few, holds the blood of the pirate king in their veins, an heir to a throne that no one dared to claim after the fall of the legendary ruler. Their identity, until now, has been hidden, wrapped in layers of deception and myth. But as the tides shift, the heir is drawn to the pirate world, unknowingly stepping into the legacy of a kingdom built on blood and betrayal. At first, the heir is nothing more than a shadow. A young, unassuming pirate with no idea of their true heritage. But as whispers spread among the pirate crews, word quickly gets out, a new leader has emerged, someone whose lineage ties them directly to the pirate king himself. The news strikes like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of ambition and chaos. The pirate fleets, once divided and leaderless, rally behind this mysterious new figure. For the first time in years, the pirates unite under a single banner, believing that the heir will lead them back to the glory days of the pirate king. But as the heir begins to rise, something darker begins to unfold beneath the surface. Ancient, forgotten secrets are uncovered in the wake of the heir's ascent to power, secrets that have been buried in the depths of the ocean for centuries. The pirate king's empire was not built on simple treasure and conquests. It was built on a dangerous pact, a blood oath that bound the king's descendants to a fate far worse than death. The throne of the pirate king comes with a curse, one that no one has dared to speak of in generations. Whoever claims the throne will not only inherit the riches of the seas but will also inherit a life steeped in betrayal and bloodshed. The heir's newfound power is not a blessing, but a burden. As they step into their role as leader, they find themselves haunted by the whispers of the past. Betrayal seeps into their every decision, as old allies turn on them and new enemies rise from the shadows. The pirate kingdom they hope to build is instead engulfed in an endless cycle of treachery. Each victory, each conquest, only brings them closer to a fate they cannot escape, a life cursed by the very blood that runs through their veins. In their quest to unlock the full extent of their legacy, the heir begins to question their own sanity. Can they break the curse, or is their fate sealed by the sins of their ancestors? As the pirate kingdom edges closer to war, the heir must decide whether to embrace their inheritance, no matter the cost, or abandon the throne altogether, knowing that to step away may mean the destruction of everything they've fought for. The rise of the pirate king's heir promises a new era for piracy, but the true price of power may be far more than anyone can bear. In the end, the heir must choose between power and redemption, between loyalty and survival, knowing that the deeper they dive into the past, the darker the waters become. 6. The War Within, Pirate versus Pirate. The pirate kingdom, once united under a shared dream of freedom and riches, begins to fracture as ambition and greed poison the hearts of its leaders. What was once a rebellion against the empire's oppression has slowly turned into a brutal, bloody contest for control, with every pirate captain seeking to carve out their own piece of the sea. The very foundations of piracy, the code that once bound them all, start to crumble as the pirates begin to see each other not as allies, but as competitors, threats, and traitors. At first, the fissures were subtle, small disagreements over treasure, territory, or leadership, but as time passes, these cracks widen into a chasm of distrust. Pirates who once fought side by side against the empire are now turning on one another, fighting over spoils and dominance. The dream of a free, united pirate kingdom is fading into a bloody nightmare where the only rule is survival. In this world, alliances are made and broken with shocking speed, and yesterday's trusted companions become today's sworn enemies. The conflict ignites when a powerful pirate captain, Captain Roderick Ironclaw Thorn, stakes his claim to a vast stretch of the Caribbean. Thorn, once a trusted ally of the pirate crews, is now a ruthless tyrant who believes the only way to restore order to the seas is to impose his own rule. With his immense fleet and deadly reputation, he begins to challenge other captains for control, demanding their loyalty or forcing them into submission. But Thorn's hunger for power does not go unchallenged. Anne Bonny, now more powerful and enigmatic than ever, sees Thorn's rise as a threat to her own claim to power. She forms an alliance with the mysterious Captain Alistair Nightshade Graves, a pirate known for his brutal tactics and shadowy past. Together, they rally their fleets against Ironclaw, seeking to undermine his authority and reclaim control of the Caribbean for themselves. But as Anne and Alistair work together, old grudges surface, and their uneasy alliance begins to fray. Anne, once an ally to Graves, begins to suspect his true motives. Could he be using her to further his own ambitions, or is she the one being manipulated? As the pirate crews splinter, battles erupt between former comrades. Ship battles rage on the high seas, and the blood of pirates stains the very waters they once called home. Pirates once bound by the shared pirate code now find themselves questioning the very foundation of their rebellion. Is this still about freedom, or has it become a desperate fight for power and survival? The pirate code, once revered as sacred, begins to feel like a distant memory. How can they follow a code when every pirate is now out for themselves? In the midst of this chaos, an unexpected force emerges, a group of pirates who have long been silent, operating in the shadows, known only by whispers. They call themselves the true pirates, and they see both Iron Claw and Anne Bonny as traitors to the pirate cause. With their own vision of what piracy should be, they strike swiftly and without mercy, attacking the fleets of the most powerful captains. Their leaders are ruthless, and their tactics are as cunning as they are brutal. The true pirates seek to take back the seas from those they deem unworthy of the Pirate King's legacy, but in doing so, they too plunge the pirate kingdom further into chaos. As the war rages on, alliances continue to shift with the wind. Pirates once thought to be loyal to their crews begin to question everything. The very essence of piracy is turned upside down. Loyalty is meaningless when survival is the only law that matters. Can any pirate remain true to the code when the price of loyalty is betrayal and the reward for power is blood? The pirate kingdom is no longer a place of freedom, it has become a battleground where every man and woman fights for control, and every alliance is built on lies and broken promises. The dream of a united pirate kingdom is slipping away, leaving only a fractured world where no one can be trusted and the code is nothing more than a memory. In the end, only one question remains: who will survive the war within? 7. The hidden treasure and the cursed legacy. The allure of unimaginable wealth has always been the driving force behind piracy, but this treasure, this legendary prize hidden on a remote, forgotten island, promises something far more powerful than gold or jewels. The pirates, their ships brimming with anticipation and greed, sail toward the island with one goal: to claim the fabled riches said to lie buried beneath the earth. But little do they know, this treasure is not just a prize. It is a key to a secret lost to time, a secret that could reshape the very foundations of piracy itself. The island, covered in thick jungle and shrouded by treacherous waters, is a place of dark mystery. Legends speak of an ancient civilization, one that predates even the might of the empires, a civilization that once ruled the seas with a power beyond imagination. Their downfall, however, came with a price. A blood sacrifice so immense that it left the island cursed, its riches hidden away, its truth buried beneath layers of forgotten history. The pirates, in their thirst for treasure, have unknowingly set sail toward a fate far darker than they ever expected. As the crew lands on the island, they find it eerily silent, the remnants of the ancient civilization scattered in crumbling ruins. Strange symbols are carved into the stone, marking the path that leads deeper into the jungle toward the treasure. But the deeper they venture, the more they sense that something is wrong. The air feels thick with an unspoken warning, as if the very land itself is watching them, waiting for them to disturb the past. And disturb it, they do. Digging into the earth, the pirates uncover a chest, a magnificent chest, adorned with jewels and golden carvings. But inside, they find not just treasure, but an ancient relic, a relic that holds the secret to the rise of piracy itself. As the pirates begin to study the artifact, they uncover a truth that shakes them to their core: the Pirate King, the legendary ruler of the seas, did not gain his power through cunning and strength alone. His riches, his kingdom, were built on blood that was spilled in a ritual long ago, a ritual that bound his fate, and the fate of all who would follow him, to a curse that cannot be undone. The treasure, it turns out, is not merely gold or jewels, it is a key to the Pirate King's legacy, a bloodline that carries with it the weight of an ancient pact. The riches were gained through betrayal, deception, and bloodshed. The Pirate King's rule was not one of freedom, but of a dark bargain struck with forces beyond the mortal realm. And now, the curse that has haunted the Pirate King's bloodline for centuries is stirring once more. The pirates, once filled with excitement and greed, now realize the true cost of claiming the treasure. As they fight to open the chest and claim what they believe is their birthright, the curse begins to take hold. Their minds grow clouded, their tempers flare, and strange, unexplainable events unfold. Those who are closest to the treasure begin to suffer the most, visions of betrayal and death plague them, and a growing sense of paranoia tears the crew apart. The very essence of piracy, the promise of freedom and wealth, has become tainted by a dark legacy that no one can escape. As the crew turns on each other, the question arises: who will claim the treasure, and at what cost? The pirate captain, driven by a burning desire to claim the power that comes with the treasure, must decide whether to continue down the path of greed or to abandon it before the curse consumes them all. Will they be able to break the chain of bloodshed and betrayal that binds them to the pirate king's legacy, or will they too fall victim to the curse, doomed to a life of madness, betrayal, and death? In the end, the true treasure is revealed, not gold or jewels, but the knowledge of the pirate king's dark past, a legacy that will forever haunt those who dare to claim it. The pirates are faced with a choice. Turn back and leave the treasure behind, or embrace the curse and risk everything for the promise of unimaginable power. But with each choice comes a cost, and no pirate can escape the dark legacy that has been unleashed. 8. The Pirates' Double Cross. For years, the pirates have fought tooth and nail to carve out their own kingdom, free from the shackles of empire rule. Their ships sail the seas with impunity, their crews united by the promise of freedom and the unbreakable pirate code. With their legendary treasure nearly within reach and their dominance over the sea solidified, it seems as though the dream of a pirate kingdom is finally coming to fruition. But as the winds of fortune begin to shift, a dark shadow looms on the horizon. Just as the pirates begin to celebrate their victories, a shocking message arrives from the Empire: a deal is offered. The British Navy, ever the cunning predator, extends an olive branch to the pirate crews, offering them amnesty and wealth in exchange for their loyalty. For the pirates, it's an impossible choice. Continue the fight against a growing empire that seems determined to crush them, or accept the deal and live out their days in peace, free from the threat of pursuit. The promise of amnesty is a tempting one. The pirate crews, weary from years of conflict, begin to entertain the idea of securing a future beyond the endless struggle. They see the offer as a lifeline, an opportunity to escape the bloodshed and live freely on their own terms, without the constant fear of imperial retaliation. Several key pirate captains, desperate to ensure their survival and that of their crews, agree to the deal. They believe that the Empire is simply tired of the fight and is willing to grant them their place in the world, on their own terms. But it doesn't take long for the true nature of the deal to reveal itself. The pirates, who once believed they could manipulate the Empire for their own gain, soon find themselves trapped in a web of deceit. The amnesty was never meant to be an opportunity for a peaceful future, it was a calculated move to end the pirate threat once and for all. The Empire had no intention of honoring their promises. Instead, they used the pirate surrender as an opportunity to infiltrate their ranks, offering false promises of wealth and safety, while secretly planning to eliminate the pirate threat once and for all. The pirate crews, realizing too late that they've been played, find themselves caught between two deadly forces. Their loyalty to the pirate code is put to the ultimate test. Should they rise up and fight back against the Empire's betrayal, risking everything they've built, or should they accept the deal and live under the Empire's control, forever bound by a lie? As the tension rises, factions begin to form within the pirate crews. Some captains argue that the code must be upheld at all costs, even if it means a final stand against the Empire that could destroy them. Others, exhausted by years of war, believe the deal with the Empire offers a chance for survival and prosperity, no matter the cost to their integrity. The crew splits into bitter factions, each struggling with the weight of the decision. Will they fight for their freedom, or will they bow to the Empire and accept their fate as pawns in a greater game? In the midst of this chaos, a plot begins to unfold, an underground group of pirates who never trusted the Empire's offer and have been secretly planning a rebellion from the inside. These pirates, seeing their comrades compromised by the deal, must now race against time to expose the Empire's true intentions before it's too late. Their loyalty to the pirate code and their fellow pirates is unshakable, but the cost of betrayal has never been higher. The final confrontation will be nothing short of brutal. Pirates who once fought together will turn on each other, torn between loyalty to their comrades and the promise of a peaceful future under the Empire's reign. The Empire, having manipulated the pirates into submission, now faces a rebellion that threatens to undo everything they've worked for. But in the end, the pirates must ask themselves one question: is the price of freedom worth the blood that will inevitably be spilled? And, more importantly, is there any escape from the Empire's grip once it has ensnared them all? 9. The Final Betrayal. As the British Navy tightens its grip around the last remnants of the pirate kingdom, it seems like the end is inevitable. Once a united force, the pirate crews now find themselves fractured, consumed by distrust, betrayal, and the echoes of broken dreams. The treasure that promised so much has become a curse, and the codes they once swore to uphold now seem like distant memories. One by one, the pirate strongholds fall, their ships burned or captured, their leaders either slain or imprisoned. The Empire is on the verge of victory, until the unthinkable happens. The heir to the Pirate King, the figure once seen as the last hope for the pirates, the one destined to unite them and lead them to their long-awaited freedom, steps forward to deliver the final blow. But instead of rallying the pirates to fight back, they do something far worse. With a cold, calculated betrayal, the heir reveals their true allegiance: they have been working with the Empire all along. The very person who was believed to be the savior of piracy, the last living connection to the Pirate King, turns out to be the architect of its destruction. For years, the pirates have fought under the belief that their heir would lead them to a new age of freedom. But now, the heir stands with the British Navy, their loyalty bought with promises of power and dominion over the seas. The Empire, having played its part in manipulating the pirate forces, now sees the heir as its key to fully crushing the rebellion once and for all. With a calculated smirk, the heir hands over critical information to the Empire, revealing the locations of the last pirate strongholds and the identities of those who would dare to resist. The pirates are left in disarray. The leader they trusted, the one they thought would secure their future, has betrayed them in the most devastating way imaginable. The trust that held the pirate crews together shatters in an instant. Tensions flare, and alliances crumble. The very foundation of piracy is torn apart, as one captain after another falls into chaos. The Empire, having carefully orchestrated this turn of events, begins its final assault, overwhelming the remaining pirate forces with a sense of crushing inevitability. But the true betrayal, the true shock, is still to come. In the heat of the final showdown, as pirate ships clash with British warships, the heir's true intentions come to light. It isn't just about the treasure, the wealth, or even the Empire's offer of power. The Pirate King's legacy wasn't about gold. It was a carefully orchestrated plan to dismantle the empires themselves. The Pirate King had never sought to create a lasting kingdom of pirates. Instead, the kingdom was a pawn in a much larger game, a game that, if successful, would topple the empires and create a new order of piracy, one where the true rulers would be those who controlled the seas and the knowledge of ancient secrets. The heir, now revealed as a master manipulator, had been plotting this downfall for years, using the pirates as mere instruments in their grand scheme. The pirates, once the fierce rebels against empire tyranny, had been nothing more than pawns in a much larger plan to ignite a conflict that would bring about a new world order, one where the empire's destruction would open the seas for total domination. The heir's betrayal was not just an act of greed. It was the final move in a chess game played over generations. The pirates, torn between rage and disbelief, are left to fight not just for their lives, but for the very future of piracy itself. The empire's forces close in, but the pirates, now leaderless and broken, are caught in the crossfire of their own ambitions and betrayals. In the end, the final betrayal has not just destroyed the pirate kingdom. It has set the stage for a new age, one where the pirate code is forgotten, and the empire's control over the seas is solidified. The heir, standing triumphant alongside the empire, has achieved their ultimate goal, the destruction of piracy, and the creation of a new world order, where no pirate will ever challenge the empire again. But as the dust settles, one question remains: who will inherit the pirate kingdom's legacy now that it's all but consumed by betrayal and bloodshed? 10. The Last Pirate. The sun sets on a war-torn sea, the silence broken only by the gentle lapping of the waves against the remnants of a once mighty pirate ship. The battle for the pirate kingdom is over, and the empire stands victorious. But as the smoke clears and the last of the pirate ships sink beneath the waves, there remains a single figure, a shadow in the ruins of what was once a fierce rebellion. The last pirate, once a fearless leader, now stands alone, having lost everything. Their friends, their family, their crew, and most tragically, the very dream they had fought for. This pirate, broken by betrayal and the weight of years spent fighting for a world that has slipped away, is left to ponder the true cost of their rebellion. The empire has triumphed, and the pirate kingdom is no more, reduced to nothing but a series of scattered memories and fading legends. In exile, the pirate reflects on their past. The love lost to treachery, the sacrifices made for a dream that was never realized, and the comrades who are no longer there to share in the victory that never came. The freedom they had once yearned for, the freedom that seemed within their grasp, now feels hollow and empty. The cost of rebellion has proven too high. As they sit among the wreckage, the pirate's heart is heavy with regret, but also with a defiant resolve. The pirate code, the dream of a world free from the empire's control, may have been crushed, but it has not been completely erased. The ideals of piracy, the thirst for freedom and the rejection of oppression, still burn brightly in the hearts of those who dared to challenge the powers that be. Even in defeat, the pirate understands that the spirit of rebellion cannot be vanquished so easily. It lives on in the stories told by the survivors, in the whispers of those who refuse to bow before the empire. And then, in a twist that neither the pirate nor the empire could have foreseen, the pirate learns a chilling truth: the pirate king's bloodline, once thought to be gone, has not disappeared. It lingers, hidden, waiting for the right moment to resurface. The heir to the throne, the one who could have reshaped the future of piracy, is not the traitor who betrayed them all, but someone else, someone who has been quietly preparing for the day when piracy would rise again. A new generation of pirates is already stirring, gathering in secret, biding their time. They are the children of those who fought and died, the ones who still believe in the promise of a pirate kingdom, free from the chains of empire. They are determined to reclaim the seas, and the legacy of the pirate king lives on in their hearts. The bloodline has not been extinguished, it has merely been waiting for the right time to rise again. For the last pirate, living in exile and lost in a world that no longer makes sense, this revelation sparks a flicker of hope. The rebellion may have been crushed, but the fight is not over. The pirate may have lost their kingdom, their comrades, and their dream, but the next generation will carry the torch forward, and the seas will once again belong to those who dare to live outside the empire's rule. As the final scene fades, the last pirate looks toward the horizon, knowing that though their personal battle has ended, the war is far from over. The pirate king's legacy will continue, and a new era of piracy is about to begin. The last pirate, now an outlaw and a symbol of defiance, fades into the shadows, but their story is not yet complete. The seas are never truly conquered, and those who dare to sail against the tides of empire will always rise again.